said through the World Carp Classics, which they held there for a good few years, that you could fish from the island. So we set up on the island. Well, we didn't actually set up, we unloaded all the gear from the boat. Now I say unloaded all the gear from the boat, that doesn't sound like an effort, but it took us about an hour and a half to get to the swim. The wind was crashing in. We had the outboard motor on full, and we were rowing just to get to where we wanted to fish. Now we'd finally got there, we'd got all the gear off, we were just about to get the bivvy set up, and some Belgian chaps come over to us and said, "Listen lads, you can't fish here, it's no fishing." We've been like, what do you mean? He said, "You can't fish from the islands." And we were like, what? So this Belgian chap said to us there, he said, "Right, listen," he said, "you can fish from the car park." He said, "You can fish from the car park, you can't night fish till after the 1st of May, but you can fish from the car park." So we thought, that's not too bad. What we'll do, we'll go over to the car park, we'll set the bivvies up and whatnot, and then we'll just we'll reel in at 11-12 o'clock when it gets dark, and we'll put a bit of bait in for the morning, and then we'll cast back out at first light. Not a bad thing really, rest in the swim till morning, you know what I mean? So anyway, we did that. It must have been a couple of hours after we'd all got set up, and the French guys come over and told us we couldn't fish there. Anyway, I won't go too deep into that, but from one problem to another, we left that lake, fished another lake, which was a load of shit. We left there, fished another lake, which was a load of shit. Got kicked off about 3 lakes, fished a load of other lakes, which was absolutely dog turd. And we finally arrived on a lake, which we didn't mind. We arrived on the lake. I said to my mate Cabba, I said, "Listen mate," I said, "I'm not even going to fish tonight. We'd had that much of a nightmare, you know what I mean?" I said, "What I'll do, I'll nip and get us a kebab, we'll get a few beers and that, and we'll just have a bit of a social tonight. We'll get all the stalls set up. Tomorrow is a fresh day, we can forget about what's happened and we can carry on." Anyway, I fucking set off to the shop, then I went head on into a fucking other car, probably about 90-mile-an-hour collision straight in front of it. My van was completely not where we were off, it was on fire. Dog had shit herself, the other car wasn't so good. I had to pull the woman out of the car, she had bones hanging out of her legs and all sorts. Anyway, this is what I mean by French fishing. I mean, yeah, you can go and jump on commercials for a week and catch fish, or you can fucking jump right in at the deep end and go to the publics. Some of the publics, yeah, you can go and do them, and you can do them happily. Some of the other ones, the information you're going to find is going to be very slim. Same with the rivers, you know what I mean? Nobody at all that has had fish and done well out of rivers and done well out of the publics are gonna give away information, you know what I mean? Why would you? If I'd had fish out of a public, why would I tell somebody where I was? I wouldn't, because other people are going to be there at the end of the day, and that is not what you want. That's not what you're over here for. You're over here to catch fish that haven't been caught, or to just spend time on your own and get into the lake and do something that is different than English angling, you know what I mean? Anyway, all that happened, and I'll get back to the story. And I left Villas Forges and headed over to here. I told you I had that 42 my mate lost. I had that fish that my mate lost. Fish started spawning. I'm not into fishing for spawning fish at all. There wasn't proper spawning, but there was fresh about in the margins. So I decided my time was done. Set off from here, didn't know where to go, to be honest. I'd never fished the rivers before, so I thought, no, I'll give the rivers a go. I thought, it can't be that hard, you know what I mean? I've heard a bit about them, I've heard there's some skill involved in that, but I'll go down to the rivers. I had got a bit of information off one of my pals, one of the bailiffs that owns one of the bailiffs that runs Abbey Lake, should I say. He gave me a bit of a location, set off to the location, went down, had a bit of a scout the day before. Looked alright, I was quite happy with it. But I wasn't too happy with it, because I wanted somewhere with a bit of abnormality. I didn't want a straight stretch of river, you know what I mean? I wanted an offset to the river, I wanted an entrance to a bay to the river. I wanted something different, because these are the things that fish want. They don't want to be sat there in the middle of the river. They want to be looking for slack flow, they want to be looking for margins, islands, anywhere where the strong throw isn't towing. I mean, obviously you will catch fish from the middle of the rivers, especially when the boats have passed through, because it's going to kick up a load of shit and the fish are going to feed, but the margins are the ones. Anyway, I found a spot that looks absolutely sweet. It was away from boat traffic, because it was on kind of a cut through. The river basically went round like that, and the main river went like that, so it was like a cut round. I did a night, to be honest, it was absolutely ridiculous. I'd never fished a river before. After getting a bit of information off a few pals that have fished it, Matt Denton, Tony, David Patrick, they were basically telling me to cast over. The far margin looked far superior to the one I was fishing. I mean, I could have fished in front of me, but the far margin was overgrown. I had seen fish underneath it, so that was like the way that was that was pushing me forward, if you like. Anyway, so I was casting across with first of all I was casting across with 6 ounce leads. I was putting a 4 on and a 2 on, and seeing if that was old. And there was no comparison at all. I mean, as soon as I cast it in, it was off. It was pushing right downstream. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I upped my game a bit. I started putting 2 4s on, and they was kind of holding. So I'd get 3 rods out, bang on. I'd get the 4th rod out, bang on. About 10 minutes later, one of them would rip off, and all it'd be basically is my lead ripping loose out of the flow of the river and just pushing downstream. And I was like, wow, what is going on here? Anyway, I got a bit of information off Toll, which was basically to go over to the far margin in the boat, tied basically either a pipe bung or a buoy to the branches on the far margin, put a snap link on, and put a piece of £4, 3 to 6 pound line, should I say. I was using 4. Put it onto the snap link, drop your rig in under the trees, open your snap link, boom, put your line in. So your line is basically going right above the water. So the problem is when you're fishing these rivers, it's not that your lead's moving, because you're taking it across to the far margin, so there's no flow whatsoever. You know what I mean? There's no flow over in the far margins. It's your line that's cutting through the water. The flow of the river is picking your line and it's dragging it. So when I was doing this, my line was keeping above the water. There was none of my line visually touching the water as such. So I got all my rods out. I had 4 rods out, bang on. I thought, oh, happy fucking days. You know what I mean? I've had a bit of advice with a few pals. I'm fishing. I wasn't too happy about the line cutting straight through, like going straight down onto the rig. I was like, wow, it's like float fishing with a fucking with a rig on the bottom with a 4 ounce lead. You know what I mean? I thought, wow, that can't be right. But they're not caged, these river fish. You know what I mean? Half of them haven't seen an hook before, never seen a boilie. So as soon as I got a bit of reassurance, I thought, right, that'll do for the night. Next morning I woke up in the morning. I had no rods in the water. During the night, my left hand rod screamed off. I think that was the first take I had was a dress. I think it was about a size 18 Primani bad boy. I was like, whoa, what is going on here? You know what I mean? So I reeled this dress in. I actually had to go out in the boat to fucking land it. You know what I mean? How embarrassing is that? Anyway, I got out in the boat, landed this fucking dress. It was a humongosaurus fucking dress. Fucking floral print on it and that. I was like, oh my god. Left that rod out. I thought, I'm not going to go back out in the boat and drop it, because there's no way I'm going to cast a fucking like 10 ounces, 12 ounces of lead over to the other side of the river at this time of night. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be going out in the boat at that time of night either, with my fucking dog sat in my bivvy. You know what I mean? I thought, there's no chance that's happening. So I just left that rod out. Anyway, I won't go into too much detail, but by about 8 o'clock in the morning, I had no rods in the water whatsoever. I had a dress on one rod, a tree on the other, a lily bed on the other. Can't remember what was on the other one, but it wasn't fucking fun. I woke up at about 8 o'clock to find some French guy pointing in my face, saying, oh, it was just this, that and the other. I couldn't understand a word he was saying. Took me over to the sign, started pointing at this sign, and then some other guys come over, could speak vague English. He told me I wasn't allowed to fish here, there was a match on, and basically all the pegs was reserved for this match. I wasn't happy with it in the slightest, but on another side, another point of the note, I was like, oh, you know what I mean, I wasn't fishing proper that night. I would have had to go to the tackle shop. I would have had to get some 12 ounce grippers, and I would have had to get elastic bands, paper clips to be fishing over to these trees. I mean, it didn't put me off, to be honest, and it is something I'll definitely go back and do. But to be kicked off by a match fisherman, that was like the last draw of you. Like, I got kicked off by these match fishermen, and I thought, whoa, what am I going to do here? I got the BK guide to carp fishing out, the BK guide to European waters. I had a quick scout through there. I'd already had the carte de pêche for the area I was fishing, which I won't mention. A few of you probably know. So I went on the internet on my phone, opened the PDF document for the guide to waters, started having a scout through. There was basically with the carte de pêche that you buy your standard one, you get authorization for fishing carte de pêche 1 and 2 waters. Now the 1 and 2 waters I was checking, it did actually say carp. I was looking at the carp and there was like 3 waters that I could have fished on this permit. First water I went to, I got chased off by 2 Frenchmen. They didn't like me being in the zone at all. They didn't like the fact that I was fishing or trying to fish. As soon as I got there, I thought, wow, this lake looks alright. It's got big fish in it, obviously, because I'd seen a few pictures on a notice board. I'd unloaded 2 rods from the van, flicked them out straight away because I'd seen fish. Dog jumps out of the car. About 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, I'd had a French guy running on the bank shouting fucking obscenities at me and told me to fuck off. English guys aren't allowed to fish here. It's all part of the adventure to me. I mean, to other people, having to pack up at 8 o'clock in the morning and pack up again for probably the 9th, 10th time in this session, it'll make people skin crawl. It's not for everyone, this type of fishing, but to me it was all part of the adventure. So I packed up, I went and had a look at another water which is next to one of the famous waters in France. There was nobody fishing it, and which really lit my fire. So I went and chucked 2 rods out in the bay down there, put a bit of bait in, which I am going to go back and fish, to be honest. I got kicked off there as well, but it's one of them. You've got to go on at night and you can't be seen during the day. Turning up in the middle of the day is just stupid, but you learn the hard way, I suppose. I left there by luck, really. I was driving down the road. It is a lake I've fished before. I was driving past and then I realised where I was. I was like, whoa, that's that lake I've fished before there. And I'd done well, I'd had a few fish. I had actually had a 50 out of this lake before, so I decided to have a quick mooch round. There wasn't many people on at all. A French pal I knew off Facebook. I hadn't actually spoke to the lad, to be honest. Just spoke to him on Facebook. I knew he was coming down to the lake, so I decided to set up anyway. Got the rods out. Happy days. My pal's come down a couple of hours after I've set up. He's had a quick scout round, come over to me. Great to meet the guy. You know what I mean? You're in a different country. He don't really know the language too much, but you managed to break a bit of conversation, and what a guy. You know what I mean? Half of the people you meet in England aren't that friendly. At the end of the day, you've both got something in common instantly. You've both got a love for carp fishing, so why not have a conversation? Why not get to know the person? You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm here now still. I've not had no fish yet, but I have seen them, which is a bloody good result on these type of waters, I tell you that. I've seen possibly 4 fish over 40 pounds, and I have seen some that looks about the 50 mark. There's a few bars running out to the left of me. That's where I've seen these fish. One of them was an absolute monster. It might have been near the 60 pounds, to be honest. This lake I'm on now is not often fished. There's not a lot of anglers fish it, so I'm not going to declare where it is. But I'm here now and I'm doing it. And like I say, I've been over here for, can't even remember now, to be honest, probably 6 or 7 days. I stink. I need a shower, and I have actually got a shower with me, which I'm going to have one in a minute. The person that owns the lake around the corner's lit a fire, so there's smoke everywhere. It stinks. There's flies taking cover in my bivvy. I'm getting bits of fuck off mosquitoes. But I'm here, and my dog's there. You've probably heard her snoring there. That's fucking what I've got to put up with all night. Seriously. She doesn't usually go to sleep in that basket. She usually jumps in my bed and then growls at me when I get in it, which isn't fucking fun for me when I'm knackered and want to get a bit of kip. I'm covered in cuts, I'm covered in bruises through coralling through the fucking undergrowth of that river. Look, fucking cuts here, I've got cuts on my legs, fucking bruises there. I'm here and I'm fucking doing it, and I reckon I've got a real good chance of catching the chunk. 40, 50, 30, to be honest, it doesn't care. It doesn't care, I don't care, should I say. You know what I mean? I'm here and I'm doing something that nobody else is doing. There's not many people. In fact, there's nobody I know in England that does this type of fishing, which is completely ridiculous, to be honest. You know what I mean? These waters have got massive codes that are waiting to be unlocked. The river that's behind me has done fish to over £75. Yeah, fair enough, it was 2 or 3 years ago, but that fish has never been caught before. It's never been caught after. You know what I mean? One of these days, it will happen, and I will land on a river or a lake, and I will unlock the codes, and I will land that fish that I'm here for. But until then, I'll keep on catching fucking roach and perch and fucking tench and bream. Anyway, I'm gonna sign out. I hope this hasn't bothered you too much. I just know a few people who've been asking me for it, so I'll see you in a bit. Take it easy.